Hi everyone, this is going to be week 3 of our 4-week practice series on preparing for an audition or a performance. So, at this point, you've done all the preparation stuff, your materials are all together, you've practiced super hard under tempo, been really picky about those 5 things from Robert Vernon that I mentioned last week, and now it's the week of the audition and you're just really looking for that last inch that can make you that much better than the next person. So, in this week, the week of the audition, you're really polished, you've worked really hard, which means that at this point, if you're spending 3-4 hours a day on your excerpts, probably isn't the best use of your time, because you've already done tons of great work, and at this point, this last week of audition prep is all about just making sure everything's working great, you're at peak energy, and you're fully well rested. There's a book that I read that helped me with auditions that I'll mention in my next blog, the final series about auditions and performances, that advocates that the week of the audition or the performance, you get 8 to 10 hours of sleep each day, whether it's 10 hours of sleep at night, or 8 hours of sleep at night and 2 hours of naps throughout the day. It advocates getting a ton of rest, and it's super effective because you want to be able to fully recall and to draw upon your great practicing experiences when it comes time for the audition. So, don't work yourself too hard. Make sure that when you are working, you're just making sure that all of the things that you need are in good working order. You should be playing lots of scales, lots of arpeggios, and lots of etudes that'll help you with particular techniques. For example, if you're playing the Mendelssohn Scherzo in your audition from the Midsummer Night's Dream, you should probably spend maybe 15-20 minutes practicing the scherzo itself, but in order to keep yourself fresh, find yourself an etude that'll help you with the particular kind of stroke that you need, or the particular articulation or the intonation that you need for this excerpt. That way, you're keeping yourself fresh and interested, and you're not boring yourself to death with this excerpt that you've been just living with for the last month, at least. So, those are the things that you should be practicing on. Make sure to schedule additionally what's called an adverse audition. The adverse audition should take place maybe 3 or 4 days before the audition itself, no more than that. And the idea of an adverse audition is that you invite a friend or two to come and hear you play, and their job is to create the worst possible audition environment for you. They can be rude, they can talk, they can answer their cell phone, they can tell you to stop in the middle of an excerpt. The idea here is that you want to create an environment for yourself where no matter what happens the day of the audition, which is something we'll cover next week, the day of the audition, when that comes, you want for that to not have been nearly as bad as your mock adverse audition. You want your adverse audition to go absolutely terrible, so that when you come out on the other side of it, you're fireproof. There's nothing that can possibly go wrong at this point. And lastly, this last week of the audition, relax! You've been working really hard. Treat yourself to an extra cup of coffee or an extra chocolate bar or something. Remember that this music that you're playing is super great music. It's a privilege to be playing this music. Don't worry about the competition. We'll get to that next week. And finally, most importantly about the whole relaxing aspect, remember that nobody on an audition committee wants for you to do poorly. I mean, no one wants to sit through 5 minutes of a crappy audition. Everyone wants for you to do well. So, with all of that in mind, hopefully you're practicing really hard for your audition or your performance, and I will see you next week to discuss what an audition actually looks like, what things you should be preparing for, and helping to fend off performance anxiety. So, see you then.